So, good morning and welcome on this chilly midwinter day. Um, if you didn't get one before, go and get a strap. And today's class, we're going to be focusing on outer hip opening. So, outer hip, ITB, TFL. And in tomorrow's Hatha yoga class, I'm going to be focusing on the same thing. So outer hip, ITB, TFL, and I'm going to be doing tomorrow in the Hatha class. I'm going to be doing a whole lot of things that I've never done with you, stretches particularly for that outer hip that we've never done before. I've been experimenting on my own really tight outer hips and have found these really effective and helpful. So we're going to start lying down. Have your strap next to you, lying down onto your back. Um, and guys, Anisha is not going to be doing the stuff on the back. She's going to be um, sitting up. So I'm going to give her a whole lot of different things. So Anisha, you start seated. You guys on your backs. You're going to bend your knees. Take your feet to the side of the mat. Same thing, Anisha. You're doing this. Oh, you're doing this seated, hands back behind you, bend the knees, take your feet as wide as you need to, and let's roll left to right. Start to warm up into the hip joints. Relaxing your shoulders back away from your chest, sinking them into the mat. And begin to feel your breath. Feel the thigh bones really heavy, dropping down into the hip joints. And then next time you point your knees up, keep them there. Slide your feet into touch each other. Anisha, I'll tell you second. I'll tell everybody else first what to do. We're going to stretch your legs straight out on the ground. Feet together. And then bring your left knee up. Sorry, bring your right knee up. Bring your right knee up into your chest. Hold your shin. Okay, so for Anisha, you bend your right knee up. Drop your knee out to the side, and you're going to come into a gentle Janu Shushasana, either reaching to shin or you take that left leg wider and reach your hand to the floor. And now those of you lying on your back, we're going to take some circles, so circling your knee around in one direction. Start to get a little bit warmer into that hip joint. Flex your left ankle and stretch your heel forwards away from your hip. Keep pressing your left bum and hip down towards the floor. And then change, circle in the opposite direction. Check the shoulders are down and relax your throat, relax your chest. Next time your knee comes up, we'll hold on to that knee. And then stretch the right leg straight on the ground and bring the other knee up. Okay, and Anisha, changing to the other side. Again, you open your leg out to the side as wide as you need to. Guys, flex the right ankle, stretch the heel forwards, and drop your shoulders again. Moving into your rotations. Circle that knee around, but keep the shoulders and upper back and arms flat on the ground, or at least your upper arms flat down. squeezing the belly tight and feeling the breath move. We change, circle in the opposite direction. And then hugging left knee again. Once you're holding your shin, drop the shoulders. Check in with the right foot. Is it still flexed? And now bringing your right knee up as well. Anisha, you can stretch your legs straight and then from there come into a Baddha Konasana. And then we're going to drop feet down to the floor. Knees point, excuse me, knees pointing up, and bring your right ankle to your left thigh. You pause a moment there, press the right knee away from you, soften the groins down, and then we're lifting left leg straight up and holding onto left thigh with your hands. You'd flex into that leg. Oh my goodness, my voice is really going this morning. Okay, flex into your left heel, push it up, pull the toes down. Anisha, legs straight out in front of you. And then bend your right knee up, step your right foot over your left leg, and take your twist around to the left. Just keep that left ankle flexed. Okay, you guys lying on your back, sink the shoulders, and once more, soften across the chest. Each time you breathe out, gently press your lower back into the mat behind you. And then we're going to take left foot down to the ground first, then take your right foot to the mat and change it over to the other side. Left ankle to right thigh, stretch the right leg all the way up. Gently pressing the left knee forwards, away from your shoulder, holding onto the right leg. And with each exhale, sinking into the armpits, sinking into your shoulders. Anisha, with each in-breath, lift your chest, lengthen up through the back of your neck and the back of your head. So I don't know about you guys. With this lockdown, I've been doing a lot more walking than I usually do because there's not much else that's available. And I'm finding that my outer hips are getting really tight. So walking tightens the hips in a big way, even as much as running does. Okay, let's take right foot down to the ground, left foot down to the ground, and once more taking your feet out to the sides of the mat and doing a few rolls with the breath. Inhale, lifts the knees and thighs. Exhale, rolls them down. Keep pressing your lower back into the mat. So when we walk and when we run, there's a lot of movement that happens in the pelvis. So it's very unstable when we walk and we run. Um, it's never in alignment. And that is why the outer hips get very tight from walking and running, but particularly from walking. Okay, next time you lift your knees to point up, we're going to slide the feet in to touch each other, get your strap, and we're taking strap over the right foot. and stretch that right leg up. Sink the shoulders. Okay. Anisha, we're going to go into legs wide, into a V shape. Flex your ankles, keep your toes up. And let's take a twist around to the right. So put your left hand wherever you feel you need it for comfort. It doesn't have to hook over the right leg. Guys, keep stretching into that right heel. Okay, now you're going to reach up with your left hand for the two sides of the strap. Drop your right arm to the floor. We're taking the twist to drop the left knee over to the left and then take your right leg over your body. So whether your right knee is bent or straight, keep pulling your toes back towards you and flatten the right shoulder down onto the ground. Keep breathing those shoulders soft. Have your nose pointing straight up so the two sides of your neck are long. Anisha, turn forwards. Keep your legs wide. Tip down onto your left hand and reach your right arm over. So you're taking the side stretch. And then we're lifting up to center. Take your strap off. Change legs. Right foot on the ground. Strap over the left foot. Anisha coming up to center. Still keeping legs wide, ankles flexed. And take your twist around to the left. So we're just kicking that left leg straight up, guys. Knee bent or straight. You can even pulse bending and straightening if that feels good. But sink the shoulders. Keep dropping the arm bones. Okay, so our outer hips work really hard to stabilize the pelvis. But if you're walking or you're running and that pelvis is just moving through kind of all three dimensions at the same time, all the time, those outer hips work really hard. And then we add in the cold and all our fascia starts to get a little bit tighter, and then those outer hips get really, really tight. Okay, let's reach up with the right hand and take the twist over. Press the left shoulder down into the ground. And Anisha, you can turn forwards and then drop over onto right hand and reach your left arm over. Guys, notice your breathing. Keep dropping into shoulders with breath. And then we're lifting up to center. Anisha, come to center as well. Take your strap off. Put it off to the side. We may or may not use it later. And from here, we're going to make our way up to sitting, coming straight into cross ankles. And then reaching your arms forwards. Press back and down with your sits bones. Look forwards towards your hands and stretch your chest forwards towards your hands. And lifting all the way up. Change your legs, cross the other shin in front, and then reach the arms forward again. Back into that forward bend. Oh goodness, guys, just bear with me. I need to go and get a power cable because my iPad is about to die. Okay, just hold it there. I'm going to go there in a minute or a few seconds. Okay, good. Coming up, roll onto hands and knees. And once you're on all fours, you're going to do some cats and cows. And I'm going to run and get my cable. Okay, good. Coming to flat back. And then bringing your knees together. Keep your hands under your shoulders. And let's roll side to side with the hips. Keep the knees down. Keep your toes on the ground. And try to balance the shoulders over your wrists with elbows straight. And bringing hips back up to center and lifting into downwards facing dog. And one of the things that happens when our bodies start to feel a little bit tighter and we're a little bit colder is we really don't feel like moving. But that is the most important thing to keep doing. When we don't feel like it, that's when you need it most. Okay. Walking feet up to hands, standing forward bend at the top of the mat. And we're going straight into our sun salutations. On an inhale, lifting your arms all the way up. On your exhale, bringing hands to chest. Straight back up with your next in-breath. On your out-breath, forward fold. Half lift, stretch the chest forward. And then take yourself back into your plank. Lowering down as you exhale. Roll through with your chest on your in-breath. Good, guys. And then back to hold your down dog. So, hi, Karina. Welcome. We are focusing on outer hip release today, exactly what you need. And we'll be doing that tomorrow in our Hatha class as well. Guys, taking your feet forwards to the top of the mat, standing forward bend. And on an in-breath, rise, arms to the sky, over your crown. Exhaling, hands to chest. As you breathe in, stretch back up again. On your exhale, forward fold over thighs. In breath, you half lift, stretch the spine long, and then make your way back into your plank and down with an exhale. Rolling through on your in breath, and then back to hold your down dog. Fully relax your neck. Fully relax your face. And now this time when you take your feet forwards to your hands, you're going to bring your feet to touch and stay in the forward bend. And you might have to bend your knees here. Anisha, you can take your feet to the edges of the mat and just work your forward bend there. We're going to cross the right leg back behind the left leg and try and get the outer edges of your feet to touch. We want to try and get the heels and the baby toes as close together as you can. So if you need to, you bend your knees. But even with the knees bent, you can stretch up from the back of the knee to your sits bone. So lengthen up with your bum, even with the knees bent. If you can do it with legs straight, make sure you're not leaning back to your bum, tip more into your hands. But also pressing up from the back of the knee to the sits bones. And then bring the big toes together again. And we take it to the other side, crossing the left leg back behind the right leg. Bend your knees if you need to. Squeeze the edges of the feet and the heels in towards each other. Whether your knees are bent or straight, lift with your bum to increase the stretch through the outer hip and the backs of the legs. And then uncrossing your legs, taking feet hip distance apart. Reach back, clasp or interlace your fingers. Preferably drop the top of your head to point to the floor rather than your nose. And on an in-breath, coming all the way up. From here, we're going to sit into a chair pose, bend the knees with an inhale, lift the arms. As you exhale, forward fold. And after you lengthen, go back into your downwards dog. From here, we're taking a low lunge. Right foot steps forward, get your heel under your knee, and when you lift your chest, hang your arms by your sides. We're going to twist, left hand over the right leg, right arm back behind you. Good, guys. Keep lifting your chest. Keep lengthening up through the top of your head. From here, we're going to take arms up to warrior one. Inhale to lift. Make sure that you're not rolling your left hip back. Roll it forwards. And then on an out breath, take hands to the ground. On an in breath, we step into plank and take your transition. You move through in your own time with your own breath. Make sure when you lift your chest, shoulders don't go forward, they go all the way back. And when you're ready, from your down dog, left foot steps forward, right knee down. Get left heel under the left knee. When you lift, hang your arms by your sides. And then we twist. Right hand over left leg, left arm back. Feel the breath. From here, lifting your arms up, warrior one arms. And now when you take your hands to the ground, we're going to lift the back knee and step straight up to the top of the mat. Take your feet wider, come down into a squat. And then bum to the sky. Keep your heels where they are. Turn the toes forward. So feet stay wide. And then we're taking that squat again. Toes can turn out. Sit down deep or to wherever you're sitting. And once more, bum to the sky. Heels stay where they are. Turn the feet parallel. The toes can even turn in a little bit. If you're really tight on the outer hip, turn your big toes in towards each other almost. And once more, sitting down into your squat. And one more time, standing forward bend, feet parallel. And now from here, this forward bend, we're going straight back into downwards dog again. From down dog, we're going to take a warrior two, right foot forward, left heel turns down. Check the heels line up with each other, or right heel pointing to the arch of the back foot. Good, guys. Arms wide. If you need to, you use your right hand to press that right knee open. Let the left hip roll forwards. Right knee and right hip move back. Left hip goes forwards in the direction of your chest. And now we're going to move into reverse triangle. So legs straighten, left hand to left leg, right arm over. Mikhail, other way. Yes. Okay, coming up, guys, and into triangle. Right hand to right leg, left arm either straight up, or if you want to really get the outer hip, left arm over your head. Press back away from your right leg with your left inner thigh. And keep lengthening the top of your head away from your left hip. Then we bend into the right knee, step into plank, either right leg into down dog splits or straight into your plank, and then flowing down. Curling through. Good, everyone. Back to your down dog. Up. Other side for warrior two. Left foot steps forwards. Check the alignment of heels. And take those arms parallel to the floor. Again, stretch the left inner thigh forward. Press the left knee back. Let the left hip roll in the direction of your back. Right hip rolls forward in the direction of the side of your mat and your chest. Now keep taking your upper arms back towards your back. Move your forearms towards your back. And we're going into reverse triangle. Left leg straightens, right hand to right leg, left arm back. Good. Keep those legs nice and strong. Don't bend the knees. And then come up. We're going into triangle. Left hand down, either right arm straight up or the deepening of the outer hip stretch, right arm over your head. To increase that stretch in the outer hip, press your right inner thigh towards the back of your mat and stretch your arm forwards away from your right hip. Taking hands down either side your left foot, either left leg to plank or left leg to down dog splits, and then transition yourself through, moving with breath. And now again, we're going to do those squats, taking your feet forwards, outside your hands, straight into your squat here. Okay, now I want you to bring your hands to the ground in front of you, fingers to the ground. And now we're going to lift and lower. So bum goes up and then bend. Try and squat all the way down. So going up and down. And now to protect the knees, each time your knees bend, you press them out away from each other. Don't let the knees lean towards your arms. So the lower your hips go, the more your knees will lean towards your arms. So play with that. If it's too much in the knees, you don't go so low. Keep pressing inner ankles away from each other, particularly as the legs straighten. And we'll bend one more time, and next time you lift up, we'll stay there, turning feet parallel again, down into your forward fold. Hang the head and relax your neck and shoulders as much as you can. And on an in-breath, rise, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands down. We're staying standing. So parallel your feet. And we're going to do what you did lying on your back. We're going to circle a knee, hands on hips. Make sure your left toes point straight forward. And we lift the right knee up. When you're ready, you take your circles. Okay, so again, guys, you don't have to go really wide here. You don't have to make big circles. Maybe it's just the knee almost pointing forwards and you're rolling around there. That's fine. Squeeze the belly tight. This is really good for strengthening pelvic floor. Good. And we change, circle in the opposite direction. If you need to, your left knee can be bent. Okay, so what that does is it sinks your pelvis, and it actually, if that left knee is slightly bent, it gives you a little bit more release in the hip joint here. Okay, and then foot down to the mat. Good, guys. So make sure those right toes point straight forwards. When you're ready, left knee up and roll. Okay, so again, you don't have to do big circles. Maybe it's just tiny circles. Maybe you can feel, whether you're doing big circles or little circles, you can still feel those pelvic floor muscles lifting to support the pelvis and to balance you. And then circle, opposite direction. I bring foot down to the ground. Nice, guys. So we continue with our vinyasa. On an in-breath, reach arms up. On your exhale, fall down, tip to toes as you forward bend, lean to your shins. After you lengthen, taking it straight back to down dog for a low lunge. Right foot forward, left knee down. And we're taking arms up to warrior one. From here, opening to warrior two. Right arm forward, left arm back. Good. Let's press that right knee open so the outer hip doesn't have to work there too much. It can release. And now we're going to reverse it. Left hand to left hip or thigh, right arm to the sky. If your hips are all the way forward and you can touch your calf or your heel, you're welcome to do that. But keep that right knee opening. You're not pressing it open now So now the outer hip is actually going to work. The glutes are going to work to open the knee. Nice. Circling hands over either side your front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift your back knee, stretch your front knee straight, Parsvottanasana. We're going to hold this for half a minute, folding down over the right leg. So make sure your back heel is on the ground and square off in your hips. Soften into the breath. Now from here, we're walking hands around to the left side of the mat. Turn your feet parallel, line them up with each other, and now turn those big toes in a little bit more. Fold yourself all the way down. So Karina, you can really turn those big toes in, like so that your feet are at a V shape. If that's too much on your knees, then don't do it. But if you can, that will help that ITB. Walking up onto your hands, we're going to come into a high lizard. Turn your right toes to point to the top of the mat, walking hands around to the inside of the right foot, turning onto the left toes. Get your right heel directly under your knee. I'm going to come and check that out in a moment. And lift the back heel up high. Now I want you to stay with straight arms. Don't take elbows down and put your weight into your right bum. So the left hip lifts a little bit and lean more into your right bum. We'll hold it there. Lengthen through the top of the head. Good, Anissa. Good. You all look great. Okay, now we're going to keep the legs like that. And I want you to keep the weight in the back of the right thigh and the bum. Walk your hands around towards the left side of your mat. And you're going to balance on your left hand. So the left elbow can bend if you wanted to. Reach your right arm and your right fingers away from you. Now what will happen as that right arm stretches forwards towards the left, your right bum will want to go up and out to the right. Keep pressing your right bum down as you stretch your right arm away from you. Now you don't have to reach that right arm away from you. You can just have hands under shoulders. Just take a quick check in with the left heel that you haven't twisted it towards the middle of your mat. Keep the left heel straight up. The more you stretch into your right fingers, the more you sink down with the right bum. Okay, walking hands forwards. And from here, down dog splits with the right leg, or down dog if you prefer, with both feet on the ground. And then we bend the right knee, because that lizard is a long hold. It over tightens the inner groins. So we come here and release the groins. And right foot down. All of that to the other side. Low lunge. Left foot forwards. Right knee down. And we're taking arms up to warrior one. Great, guys. From here, opening to warrior two, left arm forward, right arm back. We'll drop the left forearm to press the left knee open, but keep twisting your left ribs towards the right side of your mat. Don't lose that twist in the rib cage. Okay, good. From here, we take our reverse warrior, either right hand to hip or right thigh, left arm up, maybe reaching for your back of your knee or your calf. But again, we've got to now press that left knee open. Don't let the left knee lean in the direction your chest is twisting to the right side of the mat. And then circling over. Hands either side the left foot, Parsvottanasana, back knee lifts, turn the right heel in and down to the ground, stretch both legs straight. Back foot is at 45 degrees on the mat. Don't have the toes pointing straight forward and the heel straight back. So it's half a minute here. Each exhale softens the chest. And now walking your hands around to the right. Turn your feet parallel. And bring your hands under your shoulders. Turn the heels in slightly, the toes out slightly. Just slightly, not a big turn out. Okay, now like we did with our squat at the top of the mat, we're going to bend and straighten. So as you exhale, bend the knees, push them apart. As you breathe in, stretch the legs straight. Or the breath the opposite way is fine. Each time you bend your knees, press the knees out. Each time you straighten, keep pressing out with the knees. Now, as your knees bend, your bum stretches back, your chest stretches forward. We're trying to get a flat spine here. Do that sideways. Now, bend and straighten one more time. Next time the legs straighten, turn your heels out, big toes in, and fold all the way down. So again, if you really tighten the outer hip, you can turn, you really twist the toes in so your heels are wider than your toes. Don't have heels in, toes out, because that will do the opposite. That will tighten the outer hip. And then walking up onto your hands again. Turn your left toes to the front of your mat. Walk your hands around into your high lizard. Take the left foot as wide as you need to. Arms stay straight under shoulders. Right heel points straight up. And now we sit our weight down into that left bum as much as you can. Lengthening chest forwards. Make sure the right heel twists straight up. Now we want to keep the weight in that left bum. Don't lift it up as you walk your hands around towards the right side of the mat. They don't have to go around very far. More important here to keep your weight into the left thigh than to walk the hands all the way around. Okay, so we're balancing on the right hand, and then we'll try and stretch a little bit more with the left arm. Try and walk the fingers away from you. If that's too much, you just keep hands under shoulders. Twist the right heel straight up. Don't turn it into the midline of your mat. And the more you reach with the left arm, the more you need to sink into that left sits bone. Keep the left bum going down. And make sure you're breathing. Good. You guys are looking great. Okay, then walking your hands forwards. Step into plank. Lower flat down onto your stomach. Anisha, you can come down, toes together, knees wide. You got it. Forward drops. Ah, Anisha, you're right. Thank you. Okay, we're going to take it into a half frog. Sorry, guys. Okay, we're going to reach back for one foot. Doesn't matter which. Holding on. And then just check that your knees are in line with your hips. Melting down into chest. Soften your face. Soften into your breath. I change over to the other leg. Letting go. Make your way back to down dog. As Anissa pointed out, we didn't stretch out our down dog splits. So if you did down dog splits on the right side, you're going to lift your left leg now and bend that left knee. Just open the hip up a bit there. So you get the even stretch in both quads. Or just holding down dog. Okay, good, guys. Feet to the floor. And now walking your hands to your toes. When you get to your forward bend, you're going to roll yourself all the way up to standing. Okay, now you guys are all going to be doing different things here. So if the first thing I show you doesn't work, you can always come to a tree pose. Okay, so we're going to balance on the left foot, toes pointing straight forwards. And you're going to bring your right knee up to your chest. Okay, and lift that knee nice and high. And you don't have to go any further than that. Or if you want to do something a little bit more, but not the next thing we're going to do, you can always come to tree pose. Okay, so a whole lot of options there. Now, what we want to do is we're going to reach down with your left hand for your right ankle. Lift your shin as high as you can. And now we're going to bring your ankle over to your left hip. My knee is still higher than my right hip. I'm trying to get the right knee up high, right heel to left hip. And then from there, I'm going to bring my knee forwards in the direction of my chest and then try and point it down to the floor. Okay, so if you're trying this and it's just not feeling good, it's actually feeling like it's making you tighter, then you can always either just hold the knee or you can come into tree pose. So there's a whole lot of options there. Now, if you're doing the foot to hip, we want to bring the knee in and try and squeeze the thighs towards each other so that you get the release on the outer hip. Ah, good, guys. Okay. And then swiveling knee up, foot down to the ground. So whatever you did on that side, you're going to try and do it on the other side. All right. So knee, right toes point straight forward. Left knee comes all the way up as high as you can, either staying like that or coming into your tree pose with foot to the inside of the thigh. Or you're going to reach down with right hand for your left ankle. Try and lift your leg higher. Bring your heel across towards your right hip, and my left knee is still up really high here. So I try and get heel to hip first. Then I'm going to try and point my knee forwards in the direction of my chest. Anissa, that's great. And then you try and point your knee towards the floor. So again, what we're trying to get here is not knee out to the side if you've got heel to hip. You're trying to get your knee pointing straight down to the ground. There we go. Because then that ITB starts to lengthen, the TFL starts to lengthen and the ITB starts to release. Keep the shoulders back. That's fantastic, everyone. Well done. We're going to swivel the knee up and then step your foot down. Okay, so we're at the back of the mat. On an inhale, arms float up. On your exhale, fold down. Walking your hands forward into your downwards dog. And then from here, we're coming into half pigeon. Right knee to right wrist. Heel under the left hip. Now, before you go all the way down, check the alignment of your left leg. Make sure it's not a little bit out to the left. Bring the leg in a little bit. Make sure your leg is straight back behind the left hip. And as you go down, pelvis is nice and square. Don't lean into the left hip. Then you can go all the way down. And we're here for a minute on each side. And guys, just check this right foot. So I'm going to come in a little bit closer so that you can see what I want the alignment with the foot to be. So often when we have the foot, it starts to do this. So don't have your foot doing this. Have the foot lengthening. All right, so that the toes and the shin and the ankle, not that, that. That's the difference. Good, guys. Another half a minute here. Tune into your breath. Work with the breath consciously. We come into our relaxation breath, which is out breath longer than in breath. And that is what helps tension to release. Walking up onto your hands. Make your way straight back into down dog. And then to the other side. Left knee to the back of the left wrist. Heel under the right hip. Before you take it all the way down, check that the right leg is straight back behind the right hip. It's not out at a diagonal. And sometimes that's a very subtle diagonal. So just be careful with that. And when you go down, don't lean more into the right hip or the back of the left thigh. Left thigh is a little bit off the ground. And the only time the back of that left thigh starts to touch the floor is if you're so open in the hips that you're able to do full splits with both thighs on the ground, then in half pigeon you'll probably be able to get back of the left thigh on the floor. But for the rest of us, back of the left thigh a little bit lifted. Nice long deep breaths, softening into the chest. And then walking it up to hands and back into downward facing dog. When you're ready from down dog, we're going to make our way to sitting with legs straight out in front of you. Okay, so once you're sitting with legs straight, we're going to flex the ankle And Anisha, when you do what we're going to do next, it's fine if your heel stays down low, below the level of your knee. From here, we're bending the right knee up. Take your foot a little bit wider than your right shoulder and take your arm to the inside of the right leg. So your upper arm is on the inside of your right knee, but you're going to hook your right fingers on the outside of your foot. Okay, balance on the left hand wherever you need it, or hand on thigh, on the floor, or wherever. And we're lifting right heel to the height of the right knee. As I said, Anisha, you go wherever you feel that you need to here. And we're going to pull back. We're pulse. Try and have heel higher than knee unless you're pregnant. If you're pregnant, you can do whatever you need to do. We're just pulsing backwards and forwards, and we're trying to get the knee past your ribs, past your armpit. Okay, now next time you pull back, hold it there. And from here, we're going to bring the calf across your body, hand under your ankle, other hand or elbow underneath your knee. Okay, so maybe it's like hands under the calf, hand under the ankle or heel, or elbow under the knee, hand under the ankle, or elbow under the ankle. Okay, so we're starting to try and get that whole shin directly across the chest. If you can, heel is on the level of the knee. Okay, from here, we're going to take the right heel just to above your right knee. Don't try and go to the hip. Right heel just above the left knee. Right heel just above the left knee. Okay, so your right foot, if you can, is on your left leg. And then you're going to lean back onto your hands, fingers pointing to the back of your mat. Now bend your left knee. Bring the left foot onto the ground. Good. So maybe it's a foot is way out there, or maybe you can slide that left heel in closer to your left bum, or take your left bum closer to your heel. Okay, and then the next thing is to try and walk your hands a little bit further forward, and we're trying to get the chest. Good, Anissa. Good, Roz. And we're trying to get chest to touch the calf. Obviously, the closer your chest gets to your leg, the more intense this will be in the outer hip. Make sure this feels okay on your knees. If it doesn't, you come out. Okay, lift the chest a little bit higher. Good. Now, right foot stays where it is. Left leg straightens first. Then we take the right leg out in front. Great, everyone. Other side. Right ankle flexes, left knee up. Foot a little bit wider than shoulder, arm on the inside of the left knee, and then fingers hook onto the outer edge of your left foot. We lift, and then we pulse. Okay, so if you can, you try and get your heel higher than the knee. And then don't let your back round too much. We want to try and stay out of the lower spine. Great, guys. Next time you pull back, let's hold it there for a moment. And now we're going to try and bring that leg across the body. So calf or shin comes across. You hold onto left ankle or foot with the right hand. And then the left arm or hand goes underneath the calf or the knee. Or maybe you can get elbow into the ankle, elbow into the knee. And then we try and lift the chest. We don't want to sink the chest too low. All right, good. From here, ankle to just above the right knee. And then you lean back onto your hands with fingers pointing away from you. And we bend the right knee up, foot on the floor. Okay, so it's always different on each side. You guys know that. You're seasoned yogis. And then either staying like that or bringing your foot in a little bit closer or sliding your bum towards that right heel. And then maybe walking the hands in and trying to get your chest to touch the left leg. The closer you get, the more intense it becomes, and the more your body will shrimp and crunch up. So keep lifting chest, keep trying to lift out of the lower back, and breathe. Okay, so to come up, left foot stays where it is. You slide your bum back or slide the right leg straight, and then both legs straight. We're going into our forward fold. So you decide how wide you want your legs, maybe upavishta legs, maybe heels to edge of mat, maybe feet touching. Reaching forwards and folding down. Hey, great guys. We're going to go down into our rest pose. So making your way onto backs, or you can always do legs up the wall. Any rest pose that works for you this morning is great. Noticing how your in-breaths lift your chest and how your exhales soften and sink the belly. Allowing yourself to drop deeper and deeper down into your back body. Becoming heavier with each out breath. Becoming so heavy that you feel yourself sink down through the surface of your mat, through the surface of the floor. Deeper down into the earth. Melting yourself into the earth's surface. Allowing any last tension to completely release now. And now gently starting to wake up your fingers and your toes, wrists and your ankles. And taking a deep breath, have a stretch or hug knees. And from here, making your way up to sitting. May our minds be open to the divine light that guides us. May our hearts be open to the divine love that surrounds us. May the angels keep us and bless us and bring us joy. Namaste.